Now let's go in and work on the front scoops on the front of the car, and we'll actually modify the shape a little bit as well. So right here we have the front part of the car that we've cut off from the under the headlight. So we need to create this little scoop right here, and this little scoop right here, which is more facing kind of toward the front. So the first thing we need to do is draw out our geometry. You can see I've added one edge loop right up there, but we still need a bunch of geometry down here. We've got enough going up and down, but we need to still add maybe a few right here. The first thing we might want to add is a loop right down here, because this is going to be kind of the little bumper part that's sticking out, and we want to make sure not to touch that. So I'm going to just add an edge loop right along there at that point, and that can be sort of the bottom of our scoop right here. The top, we can say, we can either use this line or we can add another line right here. I'm going to go ahead and add another line. Maybe we can use this one up here. When we're adding this geometry, we want to make sure to keep that curvature right here. So we're going to have to go in and modify those points. But for now, let's go ahead and start drawing in our scoop here. And let's say we want this to be the back line of it. And then this can be top part. And then we'll go ahead and draw those down into position where we want this scoop to be. Okay. And if we get to this point, we can go ahead and say that this is the bottom part. I'm going to go ahead and grab these guys and just go ahead and move them down here so that they're level with this guy, and then move them out so that they continue that curve, and it kind of spaces that out as well, so it helps a little bit. And then I'm going to grab these and just move those in. And let's say that these faces are going to be our scoop, so let's go ahead and select those faces. If I can get my, there we go. And select these guys. And these are the faces that are going to be our scoop. Now before we went in and added those edges all the way around. This time we're actually going to just do that real quickly using extrude. So I'm just going to extrude, and in the world I'm going to just scale that in just slightly. And you might have to scale it in a different axis a little bit more just to get an even edge all the way around. You can see that's a real quick way of adding that resolution all the way across there. And now what we want to do is extrude that straight in X, straight in there, and just kind of eyeball, and I'm going to just rotate it just a little bit. Okay, and now we want to actually have a back for this, and instead of creating a new back, I'm just going to extract this. That way we don't have to add any resolution back here. It's going to be a completely sharp edge. We'll already have the geometry, so I'll just extract those faces. And delete history, center pivot, and I'm just going to scale them up. Scale this guy up a little bit and translate him out just so he intersects with this geometry. We can have a dark background back here and our scoop in here. Okay, so for this scoop, we want to have a little bit sharper edges, and I know looking at this, these are going to be pretty soft, so we need to go in here and let's add an edge loop right up here, and maybe one down here as well. And we might want to add one right along here. And I think we want this point to be a little bit sharper too, so let's go ahead and add one there. And let's try to maintain this curvature as much as we can. It's going to be a little bit difficult with these guys right here because they're so close together. Let's go ahead and sub-D that and see how that is looking. Actually it looks pretty good, so we'll go with that for that side. You can see we're getting a little bit of an edge right there, but we'll be able to take care of that. We need to modify this shape a little bit as well. So if we take a look at this, we can see that I'm losing a little bit of volume here, but that's okay. We need this to come out a little bit, so I'm going to just pull this out. And let's see, we need this bumper to come out. So we can go ahead and do that, or let's go ahead and actually draw out this other scoop right here. So I'm going to just convert this back to polygon. And let's say that we want this to be the corner of our scoop. Let's say the scoop is going to be, if we go to our front view here, it's going to be right over here. We need one more edge, it looks like. Let's go ahead and move this over. There we go. Looks like we need one more edge right here. So I'm going to add that edge on the front and just pull it out just slightly to maintain that curvature. And then I can grab those points. Make sure I've got the correct points here. Let's say we want this one to be the corner. So I'm going to just pull it right over here and be the corner. And this one's going to be top. And then this guy is going to be the other corner. Now it kind of matches up pretty well over here. See if we can match these up as well. Bottom corner and then the middle. And it looks like we need one more line right here. And I'm going to just pull that out. This is where your using your NURBS comes in handy. When we were doing NURBS and adding resolution, our shape didn't change at all. But at this point, when we add this resolution, our shape is going to change. So we've got to constantly go in and monitor that. Make sure that we maintain that curvature. Okay. So I'm going to grab this and let's see. I think we wanted this to be our corner. There we go. That is going to be close enough right there. Let's pull that in just a little bit. We want to have the scoop coming out of a kind of a curved surface, obviously. So we want to maintain that curve around this way. So let's grab those two faces now. And let's extrude those. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to extrude in. Slightly, ever so slightly. And then let's extrude straight back in Z. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll extract. And I'm going to grab those faces. Center my pivot. And scale that up. Move it forward. And now we need to worry about the edges on this guy. So I think, delete our history. Yeah, it's going to be pretty rounded. So we need to kind of sharpen this up, and this corner up just a little bit. So let's see how we can do that. Right now we can add an edge right here. Let's go ahead and add it in the middle. Pull it out slightly. And then I'm just going to move it over by drawing that in from this point. Right over here. The wireframe you can see a little bit better. And I'm going to delete that edge. And that might actually be, let's check it. Well, we probably need it to be a little bit sharper than that. I was thinking we might be able to get away with 2 instead of 3, but I think 3 will work the best probably. So let's go ahead and add a third one right there. And then we can go up here and add one up here. And it looks like we might need one more on this side. But let's check it just to make sure. I think that actually will work if we just sharpen this guy up a little bit. Okay, so we need to add one right here. Let's actually add it in the middle. Pull it out to maintain that curvature. And then we'll go in and redraw this so that it's right where we want it to be. Right there. And we'll get rid of those edges. Yeah, if I can, select those. And just delete those edges. Okay. And then I suppose we better add one more to get it nice and sharp there. So let's go ahead and this one is going to come up and around here. So let's actually space this out a little bit if we can. If I can grab these vertices, I'm just going to move them up and kind of get them out of the way here. Try to maintain that curve. And then I'm going to just add one right in here. And I'm going to space these out just to make sure we don't get an edge there. Along normal. And pull those down. Just kind of out of the way. There we go. And you might want to reshape this real well if it's getting a little bit too, might be getting a little bit too crowded in there, and might kind of square things off a bit. We'll see if we need to modify that a little bit later. Let's check this and see what we've got here. So that actually looks pretty good. We need to smooth things out a little bit. You can see it's kind of getting squared off right here. But some of that we'll want right here. You can see that this is kind of squared off. So that's actually something that we can use. Let's actually move this up. And it's like our curvature is off just a little bit. If we want to, when we get this done, we can go ahead and lattice that up into position. Right now, we're going to concentrate on this shape so that we don't have to worry about the rest of this stuff. So we've got that kind of sharp, more sharp corner there. Let's go ahead and add, if you see, it's kind of a doughy edge right here. We don't have any edges inside there, so let's go ahead and add one right here. Kind of sharpen that up a bit. See if that works. That's looking a lot better. All right. Okay, so we've got our scoops modeled in there. Let's go ahead and smooth this out a little bit. So we've added this resolution. It's now a little bit, we've created a little bit of a corner there, so we can smooth that out just by grabbing these and moving them around a little. You can use your headlamp, your headlight cover as a guide, so we know that that's where we had our geometry before, and before we kind of manipulated the curvature there. And just pull it kind of in the position there to kind of recreate that curve. There we go. And out just slightly. There we go. Alright, so now that we've got that, in the next lesson, let's come in and work on the bottom part of this fender, and we'll work a little bit more on the shape and possibly extruding it over to the center line so that we can duplicate that to the other side.